Good afternoon. My name is Anthony C. I am a veteran of the United States Coast Guard right at the end of the Vietnam era in 73 through 76. The Navy used to kid me. I had to be over 6 foot tall so I could walk ashore when my boat sank. My history is as far as I went into Coast Guard because I didn't want to go to war, but I didn't want to go to Canada, and I thought that the best thing I could do was to help people and save lives rather than hurt lives. So I was taken to the Coast Guard recruiter by my father, and I passed the entrance exam in Cape May, New Jersey. Here I come, and not the best time of year either. It was in November. After my service, it was just machining, and I got into the aircraft industry and machine building and stuff like that. But when the industry went to CAD, computer-aided drafting, I had an eye for it. I have a mechanical eye for three-dimensional. And that just helped me in doing three-dimensional work, which comes into my artwork, showing depth and perception. I started painting 6 years ago. I was walking across the street from a meeting I had been at, and I saw a sign that said art classes every other week. And I said, well, yeah. What I was painting was humorous slates, just for people's front doors, welcome. If you cross the yard, do it in 9 seconds. The Rottweiler does it in 10. Humorous stuff like that. And so I started taking the classes, and Audrey Stafford was a teacher in the art class, and she was amazing. I just took on to it and took her suggestions and went from slate to canvas. I became a commission artist in painting other people's pictures. I had a person go to Santorini, and I did a painting for her that was Santorini overlooking the Aegean Sea. Then I had a friend go to Mexico, and I did the Mayan ruins in Tulum for him. And so I have a wide range of art that I do. However, my art now for the military, I was down at the gas station one day and getting a cup of coffee, and I met a gentleman by the name of John, who was his 95th birthday. And he was talking about his service in the Air Force. And he flew with a gentleman by the name of Herbert Zimke. Being curious, thanking him for his service and that, I went home and I looked up Herbert Zimke. And they had the Zimke Wolf Pack in Europe during World War II. Out of Britain, and they flew cover for the bombers, B-17s and B-25, those things. But Herbert Zimke, they called them the Wolf Pack because they shot down so many Fokker Wolves in the Messerschmitt Bf-109, and I started to study on it, and I was impressed. I was, somebody doesn't get 12 silver stars and live to tell, and shoot down 36 enemy planes. And it started. So I knew that he was flying the P-47 Thunderbolt, and I painted one for him for his 95th birthday. And shooting down, it was an action, shooting down a Messerschmitt, and, the guns blazing, and fire, and smoke and stuff. I gave that. I went over to his house and I gave it to him, and he put it right next to Herbert Simke's picture with Winston Churchill. So he had a whole menagerie of World War II things and he loved it, and he was so grateful. So I went home and I started painting aces, World War II aces, and I did Herbert Simke, and then I did Gabby Gabreski. They were European World War II aces. And I said, well, geez, there was World War I. So I did Eddie Rickenbacker. So I started doing aces, and then I did the Pacific Theater. Then I said, well, there's aces in Korea. So I did a Korean one. Then it's Vietnam. I did Vietnam. And there really hasn't been any aces since then, because there are no more dogfights to speak of, with a jet age. But I did a lot of paintings, 17 of them. And I had them all in my living room. And I said, geez, I'm having a gallery of this. Maybe Bradley Air Museum would like to have a history of aces portraits. So I called them, and they had too many paintings. So I called Colorado, and they had too many paintings. And I called Louisiana, and they had too many paintings. So then I called Jenny. That's Jenny. I have all these paintings, and I don't have anybody, nobody is interested. Can you, maybe you could help me out, because you're, maybe Westover, maybe somebody that it's hard to tell somebody that you have paintings because they don't know. They don't have the pictures, they don't have the paintings, and they don't have the time or interest in that subject. Well, I got a call from 104 in Westfield over at Barnes, and they were more than happy. I mean, they were thrilled to have them. And then I kind of adopted the 104, and I said, well, let's look into the history of the 104. And so I painted them their P-47 and their P-51 and their F-15 and their A-10 Warthog. And I said, if you want a full history, just, let me know what you would like. So I've done some more paintings for them. And then I did the P-51s again, because the one P-51 is wanted by somebody else who would like to have that. And I said, okay, if I give you that, I don't want to break up the set, so I'll have to paint another P-51 scene for them. So I did that. And then they came out in the news that the F-15 was going to be retired after 40 years of service. And they were going to be getting the F-22 Lightning. And that's where this came in. I thought about how to do something interesting in the F-22. And that's where, this comes in. It's the F-22 Lightning. And I did it coming out of it. And it's United States Air Force, but, having been, it's not like it was in World War II, where you had Marines and you had Navy and you had Air Force, and we all busted each other's, we busted each other about not being in that service. I mean, the Navy used to get us terribly, and then we would get them back. We call them squids. But today's military is a combined force where, the Marines help the Navy, and the Navy helps the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard works with the Navy and the Air Force. And, we fly, and we have boats, and we do, everything's united now. It's more of, we all have our own little specialties. And yet we're more likely to get along today. I love the Marine Corps. My brother was a Marine, and that. So the influence that I try to cover I've done Humvees, I painted Humvees. I had a friend that drove tractor trailer in Germany, and I painted his tractor trailers that he drove when he was in the service. I've done, Jeeps, World War II Jeeps. I've done, so there's a whole, military. It's not just the United States Coast Guard, even though I have United States Coast Guard references in my paintings, but having adopted the 104, I've really kind of gotten into the aircraft, into the industry, as far as, because I enjoy them. They're very good people, and I enjoy the art of aircraft and looking into the history of it. The history of flight is amazing to where we are today. And so I really got motivated into creating art. I think it's my, if you want to say God helped, gave me my inspiration, especially when I sobered up. And I correlate that to my interest, and it intersected, and I have these experiences, and I just have the ability, I guess. And it's interesting, but I also, there's all sorts of art, I've done over 400 paintings, and it's fun. It gives me serenity. It's my time. It's meditative. It's peace. It's what I need in this world of ours that's hodgepodge, where I can actually sit down and meditate on a painting and have something there when I'm done that I enjoy doing. I really enjoy painting. It's just part of who I am today. So I can sit down at noontime and say, okay, now I'm going to paint for an hour, and then all of a sudden it's 4:00 in the afternoon, and I didn't know I look up and I go, wow, holy cow, where did time go? Because it's a spatial thing for me. I get it, But then there's other things I have to do. So there's a balance that I have found in my painting, in my art, that helps me, Nothing really specific. I enjoy the military influence in it, because of the military gave me direction. When I was in the military, I had a direction of where I had to be, what I had to do, the mission, and to be successful in the mission, and that was outstanding. And so again, there's a mission. The painting. What do you have? You have an idea. You take that idea and you have a mission, and then I'm able to put it into paint. And that's not the only. There's all sorts of arts. So it's mine. Mine is mine, and that's it's what I do. I like it, and that's my experience. It's a journey, and it keeps going. It's something that's not. I still have other things that I do. I have people call me, and I but I enjoy the experience of how to do it in art. The shadows, well, here's a white subject, and how do I make it look three-dimensional with just shadows, feathers in a bird, to make them look like feathers. You know, that it's an art. That's, the shading on a portrait. The folds in clothing to make it come out, to make it look like it is. I'm not the type of artist that stands back and throws paint at a canvas. I don't. I'm not a Picasso. I'm a realist. I like to make it as real as possible. To say this is what I want. And that's me. So you like it or you don't. It doesn't matter to me. My art is mine. If you like it, that's great. I love it. If you don't, that's fine. That's not what my art's about. My art's about my expression of myself, of who I am as Anthony, and that's a great place for me to be, because I can express myself. Because I couldn't do that younger. Now we get into the psychological end of the business. I was the lost child. I was Edward's brother. I was Tracy's brother. I was never Anthony. I was somebody else's, and I had to be somebody else. And I was lost in the whole thing. Now I have found who I am. It's as Anthony. My name's on it, Anthony. That's who I am. And so that's my expression of myself, and it's great. And most people love my art. So I continue. That's about the end of it. This one is Shark. It's a P-51 Mustang D model at the bottom of a lagoon with a black-tipped reef shark swimming over it. I did it with the cockpit open to let you know that the pilot got out. And it was probably saved by a submariner, which would be Navy. But I wanted to put the shark teeth on it, which was on the P-47 Thunderbolt. No, the AVG in China was the planes that had the shark's mouth on it. So I put it on the P-51 Mustang, the shark's teeth, and with the shark above it, and just call it Shark. It was, it was just, I thought it was neat. That's all. I just took a picture of that and put it under the water. But it was a lesson on showing water above, in the water. It's different to show it on top or bottom, underneath. There's a whole. These are the waves above. Then it gets dark, disappears, and then you have the sand and plants. And I saw it, a picture, and I said, that's. I just wanted to do it in order to show that it can be done. Like it could have been a swimmer, or a whole mess of sharks or fish, but you have to show them you have to be able to show them underwater, which is different than on an island. So yeah, that it was just a lesson for me to paint this in order to show it. That's it. And it's a neat subject. I enjoyed it. This is the P-51 Mustang. I did it for the 104. It is Barnes Air National Guard. The planes are, they say MAS, ANG, Air National Guard. They got them in 1952. Before that, they had the P-47. But this is their colors. They have the red, and then the red tail, and on the nose they have the red. But it makes it them. It's theirs. So I painted them again, instead of just doing one flying, which is I showed them peeling off. It's called peeling off. They're in formation, and then they're starting to turn and dive. So this is where that comes in. Then you have the one off in the distance that's squadron leader, telling them what to do or whatever. It's made up. It's how it would look in real life. I think it would look. So I got a picture. I got 4 different pictures, 5 different pictures, and then I just added that to show that they're peeling off. And then the clouds in the background, and then actually this one here that's flying, it gives it depth too. It's just part of the art of showing dimension. This one's straight, this one's starting to tip, this one's really tipped, this one's going, he's gone. But you can tell it's a D model. They had 47 different variations of the P-51. As they went along, they kept changing them. But this is the D model. You can tell with the bubble canopy, and then it has 6 50 caliber machine guns and 4 bladed prop. Where the original P-51 had the engines were different. They had 3 blades, and they had a cockpit that wasn't a bubble. It was squared, and it cut down on their vision. That's why they went to the bubble canopy, so they could have full vision. And they went to the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, more horsepower and a higher ceiling. They're faster, more maneuverable. Plus they dropped the wing 3 inches. But again, it's what you learn as I look them up. I look up the history of the P-51. I look up the history of the P-47. I look up the history of, it's not just painting a picture, it's learning about the article. If you're going to paint a St. Bernard, what is a St. Bernard? Where did it come from? Why is it a St. Bernard? Who was it? It was named after, and because it saved people. And so from Switzerland, the skiers and stuff that were stuck in avalanches, and you start to learn things about the beagle, any animal, and then the people. When you do a portrait, their age, it's all part of the history of the painting. It's not just a painting. There's history there, So that's why I do what I do, and I enjoy it. And I try to get away from the ego. Oh yeah, that's a really nice painting. Pat on the back. Oh, that's cool. I try not to get into that, and it's it's nice. It's fun, and it keeps me balanced. And my wife loves it. I paint paintings for her. I got one on display right now up at in Ware at the Artworks. She was watching Karate Kid 2. And she saw that Miyagi was sitting on the beach looking at a rock with a bonsai tree on it on sunset. She goes, "Oh, that's beautiful." I said, "Okay." And I looked up bonsai tree on Google and I said, "Do you like this one?" She says, "No." "Like that one?" "No." "Like that one?" "I like that one." "Okay." I took that one. And then I just did the rock myself. And then I made up a sunset. And I painted her that painting. And gave it to her for her birthday. But it's fun like that because then it's part of me. It's part of who I am.
How do you sell? How do you sell most of your paintings? Like just word of mouth?
Word of mouth. It's the best. I could get on the web. I could, Facebook and all that other stuff, and it's not about the money. It's not about a job. It's not. I don't want a job. I don't want to do it as work. I want to do it as an expression for somebody to have a memory of. It's that kind of stuff that I do. The blue moon. They said we were supposed to have a blue moon, So I said, blue moon. I do a lot of moons. I love moons, the moon. And so I said, well, I was an acorn, and now I'm an oak. And I'm spreading my arms out in front of the blue moon, knowing that there is a God. And it's self-expression, I guess. The baby has first birthday, gets covered full of chocolate. Somebody gives me a picture and says, "Can you paint that?" And it's nice to be able to say, "Hey, yeah, the first year, birthday. It's a memory now. It's something you can physically look at." I had a friend who was at a flea market and found a window frame. He says, "Can you paint a painting of cows looking in the window?" Cows looking in and he framed it out, and it looks like a window. It's on his wall, and it looks like a window with the cows looking in. But it's that expression which is so much better than what I used to do, which was sit and do nothing and watch old cowboy reruns. And it's just part of who I am. And the service end of it is nice, but I also do, what I'm in right now, the show I'm in right now has to do with recovery. And so it covers, all aspects of expression. I just don't like the dark side. Don't ask me to do skulls and the Green Reaper and that kind of stuff. I draw the line there. I don't. Give me a sunny day. So, right. I love that. But the veterans is also important. That, I stay involved because I didn't get involved for 76 through 2017. And till Beverly. Beverly was the one that got me involved with the arts in the first place, with the veterans. And it just grows. It just keeps, and I don't know where it's going to go. Who knows where it goes. I've done stadiums. I did Fenway Park for somebody. You know, it's all part of, yeah, it's all part of it. I don't know. I just enjoy it. And it's part of who I am today. And I've done over 400 paintings now. And I know each one because I have them all written down. Each one that I do, I write down. And who they're for, you know. Baxter, George, you know, I do them all, you know. And I keep pictures, and I have books, not of all of them, but for a good majority of them. I have copies of them, so, and I don't make prints. I haven't gotten that far yet. Be nice to have a couple prints of that, but to sell a print, I'm not. You know. But I did do the for Westfield Airport, Barnes Municipal Airport. I did their T-shirt. That was a big flop. You know, somebody dropped the ball on that one. They did terrible. But as far as Homefront Strong, you guys have always been there for me. You know? So I try to be there for you. You know, do that, you know, raffle thing, and try to always fit that into everything that we do. You know, because you adopted me, I adopted you, and we get along. You know, it's the same thing. You know, John and I do together. You know, kind of a team. It's a team effort. It's not something you do alone. You know? So it's all fun. It's a lot better than it used to be. I keep growing.